but Jon Jones and Malki Kawa haven't talked for at least 3 or so years, if not more. They just kind of went their separate ways. As a result, Jon was working with Abraham Kawa, but it was more on the sort of marketing side, sponsorship side. Abe was not negotiating on his behalf. Jones was doing that negotiation. So now, is there a possibility that Jones is like, all right, I need to get new management. As a result of that, I need to, part ways with these guys. It seemed like it was inevitable. And so is he going to maybe pick another manager, maybe a manager who's in good standing with the UFC, and perhaps that will help revive the fight? That remains. This plays out, and a lot of people brought up Derek Lewis is a first round management guy and he's fully entrenched there. So that made things potentially a little awkward. But again, first round had nothing to do with that. He needed a clean break. I'm just curious if Jones now signs with a new manager, helps get the deal done. And that means Derek Lewis is on the outside looking in, and we actually get to see the Jones and Ngannou fight next.
You know what's crazy about that whole thing? I saw Ali Abdelaziz the other day talking about Jones. I don't know if this happened right after Jones left first round, but Habib, who is the most loyal guy in the world, when that first was brought up, they asked me, like, Habib's like, Ali wants to talk to you about something, right? And Ali asked me about that, like, what if I work with Jones? Would it offend you? I don't care, right? I don't even think about it like that.
Why would it offend you?
Because, him and I's rivalry and how much we don't.
But you're not represented by him.
I know, but that's Habib, man. The dude's the most loyal friend that you'll ever find in your entire life. And if somebody's on the outside of mine, he ain't messing with it. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's him in a nutshell. But I see people saying that maybe it's going to be Ali that represents Jones, and Ali has done a good job of making deals with the UFC. With that being said, it'll ultimately be up to Jones to decide whether or not he wants to fight this dude, because the fight's his, right? It's going to be a big number, but how big of a number does it need to be for Jones to step inside the octagon? Listen, Ariel, Jon Jones deserves his money. The dude has done tremendous things in the sport. But is Jon Jones going to have a number so large that it's unrealistic? That's the question. Because I know that they're going to pay him. They said when Jon Jones said, show me the money. I'm trying to really maneuver my conversations, right? Because I have internal conversations. Mm-hmm. It's like,
no, spill the tea, DC. Let's go. Listen, I'm here all day.
It's almost like Jon Jones says, show me the money, right? We're going to show Jon Jones the money. So it's going to be ultimately if he wants to fight.
I want to know where this 30 million came from, because Dana keeps saying 30 million, and then Jon keeps saying, I never said 30 million. So where did this number come from? This number
who said 30, Dana?
Dana keeps saying he asked for 30. Jon keeps saying he never asked for 30. So, I think there needs to be an in-between, right?
Somewhere in the middle. The number lies somewhere in the middle. You know that.
15?
Probably. The number lies somewhere in the middle. If one's saying 30, one's saying I didn't say 30.
Does he deserve 15? I think so. That fight does big numbers.
It does. It does big numbers.
Massive. Does over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
I think he does deserve a large number.
This is
I painful. Don't believe if Conor McGregor is, and I don't know what Conor makes, but I heard Conor makes like $15 million or something.
More.
To show up, and then he gets all the pay-per-view, right? Like if Conor makes 15 to show up, Jones shouldn't make what Conor McGregor makes.
Who knows? I mean, we don't know the number.
If Conor McGregor makes something in that range, Jones shouldn't make what Conor McGregor makes. It should be a tier beneath that. Does Jon Jones make what Habib makes? If Habib makes 8 to 10, yes. But I don't believe he should make what Conor McGregor makes. I do believe that Conor McGregor, there should be a difference in the pay scale because of what he has meant to the company. But in the 8 to 10 range, I think that works. And I'm telling you, I believe with 100% certainty, they would give him $10 million to show up and fight Francis Ngannou.
You think so?
I believe that. I do believe that. 15 to 20, like Conor, I don't believe that. But 10,
here's the thing.
Absolutely.
If you're a fan of Jones, if you're a fan of seeing this fight happen,
and that's him getting his money.
Sure.
Because he's never made $10 million before to show. He said he makes 5, right? He said he makes 5.
But again, yeah.
So if he makes 5, then you're doubling what he makes to go and fight Francis. Now, here's the problem. Here's
Mm-hmm.
the problem. And this is not me like, here's the God, this is so hard
Why is it
because of
hard?
our history. Because
Mm.
of our
I
history,
hear you. I
it
hear you.
always comes off like I'm trying to doubt and
No,
and badmouth this guy when I'm not.
I hear you.
Here's the issue with Jones is you're never certain what's going to come after. And that's therein lies the problem.
What do you
Because
mean?
what if something happens after? What if he what and this is why it's so hard. We fought on a number of occasions, and every time something happened after. What if something happens after? Now you got a vacant heavyweight championship and you pay this guy all this money. That's the problem. And it's hard for me to say that because of our history. But it's like UFC 214, him and I. He beat me. Take your belt, take your money, go home. But instead, there's an issue. Now what? You understand? You're going to just put the belt back on Francis. It's like there's just so
You
many
have to
different issues.
believe. Look, here's the facts. Nothing's happened to him of that sort in a
But
year.
it has, though. But it
he ha-
has even before the Gustafsson fight. It was happening. That's why the fight was moved.
Oh, I'm
He just
talking. No,
hasn't
in a
fought.
year. In a year, I said in a
Yeah, I
year. So
know,
we're
but
on
I'm
a
saying,
streak
like,
of a year now, where
yes,
he had that thing at the beginning of the pandemic, at the very, very beginning, if you recall, caught on camera
yes.
in this. But since then, it has been
He's
better
been doing
behavior,
good. And you hope
at
that
least
it continues
publicly.
down that path.
So I don't
What I'm
think that
saying
should
is,
be a deterrent for making this fight.
no, I'm just saying though,
I
it
get it.
makes it worrisome.
I get it.
Because again, you're built. Remember before they were like, I'm never main eventing with Jon Jones again.
That was a long time ago. They
That's what
main
I'm
evented a
saying though.
gazillion times since then.
But this is what I'm saying. It makes it scary as an organization.
By the way, they also said that about Amanda Nunes.
I believe, listen to me right now, Daniel Cormier believes that Jon Jones should get his money. Jon Jones should get the fight. Jon Jones deserves the right to get whatever he decides to get. And I'm happy that Jon Jones has not had those issues in the last year. Make myself as clear as I can be. I am in support of this fight happening. What I'm saying is you cannot just ignore that things have happened in the past when I'll give you 30 million because the biggest issue was always it was just about time. It was just every time something happened like that, he just lost some time. He was so young, time didn't really matter. Now it's like, let's go and do this thing the right way, Jones, if you're going to become the heavyweight champion of the world, beating a Francis Ngannou.
I just wanted to add, and that's all very well said, that if you are a fan of Jones, if you are a fan of seeing this fight happen, you should root for him signing with new management because he was doing this on his own. And it's tough for someone to negotiate on their own. It's good to have that in between. And let's be honest, if he does sign with an Ali, that's probably good news for you if you're a Jones fan, because Ali has that relationship with the UFC and he's going to be able to make that deal with them, it would appear, given his history. And so I'm really curious to see what he ends up doing from a business standpoint, because if he decides to go solo, we're probably not going to get that fight anytime soon. If he decides to go with a good manager who has a history of doing good business and deals with the UFC, could be a sign of better things to come.
But that's the thing about Jones, though, right? And that's what you got to respect. He understands that he's valuable. So him being by himself is not that bad because he's not going to.
It just gets personal, right? When you're negotiating on your behalf, it gets personal.
Less than what he thinks he deserves, which is the right approach, right? He knows his value. The guy's won.
Oh, 100%. By the way, I'm the first. I say give him 30 million. I don't care. Give him. The guy deserves it. Do it for back pay.
Me. Yeah. If I had to negotiate a contract with the UFC individually, not good, because I want to please people. I want to make sure that the relationships stay intact. Jones doesn't care about that because he puts his value above all, which is okay. So yeah, he can get a manager, make it happen. If not, I think he'll make it happen if he wants to make the fight. If you want, it's his. But Derek Lewis will be the fight if not. And guess what? It's a tough fight for Francis.
Oh, it's a very tough fight. It'll be way better than the first fight. It'll be intriguing under any other circumstance, by the way. If Jones was still the light heavyweight champion, this would be a phenomenal fight, a highly anticipated fight. Here's all that I ask of this situation and everyone involved in the situation. Can we make a good faith effort to make this fight happen? Because what it seems like to me now is phone call, text, phone call, blah, blah, blah. We don't talk for 2 weeks. Why can't we get on a plane, sit in a room, and try to make this happen? The same way, when a big free agent is about to either re-sign or leave a team or go to a new whatever, like good faith. Let's do this the right way. This fight is too special. It's too good. It's too big. It's too historic to just go like, you threw out a number 8 months ago. We're not interested. We're moving on to the next guy. Good faith effort. Make this fight, at least try to make the fight happen as a proper negotiation. Sit down face to face. Have a freaking plexiglass in front of you if you're worried about it. Like, can we just do this the right way, like actual, professionals do? That's all I ask. That's what I want to see happen.
Listen, if you're smart, and I want to see the fight too, but if I'm smart, if I'm Jones, and I'm not, like I said weeks ago, he's not afraid of Francis. But if I'm smart and I'm Jones, do you see what plays out between those two? Because Jones beat me twice. I beat Derek. Like, hey, man, maybe Derek beats this dude again, and I go beat Derek, become the heavyweight champion of the world.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.